Silly things. I mean, they have a case of the nips right now. Nibble, nibble. There we go. Oh, that's a good fish. Oh, that's not a bad one. Come on now. Come on, stay down. Stay down. There we go. Let's get back over here. Nope, you're not coming off. He came off. Son of a gun. Welcome back to Lowbrow Fishing, and it's time once again for what has become a yearly tradition on this channel, where we look back through the year and look at the worst lures and presentations that I tried for the entire year. And at the very end, we're going to take one of the contenders and crown it the grand champion, the worst of the worst. That's right, it's time once again for the Golden Clickbait Awards. You know, this guy right here is the reason this video format exists, and we've been doing this for years now. Back when the chatterbait was first getting started and everybody was making their own version of a bladed jig, right? You had the jackhammer and the chatterbait by Z-Man, the originals. You had brands like Strike King coming out with the Thunder Cricket. Picasso Lures, they have their own version. And Guggen wanted to try their hand with this thing, the clickbait. And I'm telling you what, that name is accurate. It's very hollow and no substance. I have several of these and I've never gotten a single bite. This thing won the first couple of years that we did this video format. So I had to retire it, pull it completely out of the running because I knew it was going to win every year, and it is now the namesake for this video series. Last year's winner was the 6 Sense Vega Frog, and you guys know my struggles with that. I don't have those frogs anymore. I broke off my last one and I said good riddance. I was never able to get a single good hookup with a fish and bring it all the way in. They got plenty of blow-ups, but they didn't get any hookups. So very frustrating, very tormenting bait. And this year, we have a fresh new batch of contenders vying for that precious Golden Clickbait Award. But before we get started, check out my merch store. It's brand new, and I've got shirts, I've got hoodies, I've got stickers. Great holiday gift ideas for you or for someone you know. And also, check out my Patreon. The link is down in the description. It's where I post videos that I don't do here, and I think you're really going to like it. So let's get right into it. Let's start with the very first contender. Now remember, these are not in any particular order. These are all in the running for the worst of the year. And the first thing we have up is this guy right here. This is the Janitor Worm by Rapala Crush City. And this is kind of funny because I like the Crush City line. I like that Mayor, that little swim bait. I've used those to great effect. They've caught me a lot of fish, and they are absolutely my new favorite type of paddle tail swim bait over a Strike King and over a Kitech. So when I saw these, it's a no-brainer, right? I bought up all kinds of Crush City plastics. Not just these, but things like that Bronco bug, right? Or the little chatter spike thing. It looks like a spunk shad. I don't remember what it's called. And I'll be honest, these things severely underperformed. I have several packs. I've been going through them, different colors. I've rigged them all kinds of ways. On a shaky head, which is what I think these were mainly designed for. I've used them on a drop shot. I've used them on a wacky rig, on a Waco rig, on a Texas rig. And you know what? These things are a dud. No matter what I use them, no matter how I'm using them, no matter how I have them rigged, I just don't get it. You know, how do you mess up a worm that badly? And I'm getting bites on other worms, other brands, on stick baits, on trick worms, on different versions, different brands. Even those cheap $1.25 a pack cream worms, which are nothing but the cheapest plastisol with no scent, I get bites on. These, I've been using these most of the year, and well, I think I've caught a total of one fish on a wacky rig using that worm. So for the hype and everything around it, and how much they cost, because they're not super cheap, they've got to be on this list. Now the next thing on this list, well, last year we had a contender from Savage Gear, that duck, and it had basically like a buzzbait or a whopper plopper combined with a duck. It had the swinging hooks on it, had the spinning feet on it. It was a disaster. Didn't catch a single fish or get a single blow up on it. You know, you would think that I would learn, but I decided I was going to be more conservative this year. So I went with this guy, also made by Savage Gear. This is the Fruck, a duck combined with a frog. And I'm telling you what, this thing is terrible. This thing did not get a single blow up. I was excited to try this. You know, it's like, well, it's a hollow body frog, right? But I should have had visions of Lunker Hunt, because that's where this came through. I tied it on, I worked it, didn't get a single blow up. You know, and I got this thing for Christmas last year, so I've had this all year. Didn't get a single blow up the first time, and it got to the point where I was waiting to where I knew those bass were killing a frog, a popping frog, or something like those scum frogs. Tie this on, those bass ran in the other direction. So this thing, and these things aren't cheap either. These things are anywhere from $11 to $13 for this, which is way more than even something like a Spro frog. So this is not great. It's got to be on this list. It's the second year in a row that Savage Gear is on this list, so I may not be getting any more of their products. Now, next up, well, these guys right here. The Net Bait Pack-A-Chunk, Tiny Chunk Crawl Trailers. Variations, right? Different types. You guys know I love to throw a jig, and I'll even use a crawl on a Texas rig. I like these because you didn't have to bite them down, you don't have to cut them down. They should work perfectly as they are. And plus, they've got that bait fuel in there, right? Everybody loves bait fuel. Bait fuel is the thing that's going to get you the bites. These things are infused with it. They don't work. I haven't caught any fish on them. And these things right here, they're hollow. Why are they hollow? That means they don't stay rigged up and they tear easily. When I try to lace this on a jig, it doesn't matter how big the hook is, it doesn't matter what type of keeper it has on it, it's hollow. The keeper never bites into this thing. I just don't like them. I feel like I wasted my money with these, and I was so excited to try these because I like a crawl style trailer. You guys know I like that Guggen Kraken crawl, right? Or a Strike King Rage crawl. And I've even gotten some of those pared down Rage chunks for the Rage crawl, which have worked tremendously well. So you would think something like that would work equally as well, but it did not. And especially because those have the bait fuel in them, and the bait fuel is supposed to be the thing, the sauce that's going to draw a bite from all the way across the lake. It's going to attract those fish. Well, they didn't do anything for me. I got a whole bunch of packs of those, and I'm never going to use them because they just don't do anything for me. Now, next up, we have one that's going to be controversial. This is going to be the one that's going to aggravate and anger a lot of people, you know, and that's going to be the Berkley Gilly. It's got to be on this list. I was so hyped to try these. These things are super expensive. Everybody says, oh, it's lifelike in the water. Oh, you can rig them so weedlessly and fish them anywhere. Well, you know what? These things are all smoke and nothing else. They have nothing to them. Sure, they look great. They look amazing. And whenever you can get them to work in the water, they do look super good, and they do get bites. However, there's a problem with both of those. First of all, they are a pain to rig up. There's way too much plastic there, way too much meat. So, in order to use a bigger EWG hook, which is what these are recommended to be on, they've even got the grooves to show you where to put the hook point. Even when you use a big enough EWG hook that's got that gap, well, it's going to be long, and it comes down here in the fin, inside the tail, and it kills the action. In order to use a proper sized EWG hook, which is only a 1/0 or a 2/0 at the biggest, for the smallest size. This is the small gilly. The bigger ones, forget about it, right? You have to rig them with a nail weight, but you have to put the nail weight in the front in order to keep the ballast down where fishes like that. They're just a pain to rig up. And whenever they do work, they look amazing in the water. However, a lot of times, half the time, they're going to come back at you just like a stick. I don't know why, but a lot of times they look amazing, and a lot of times they look just like a stick. And when they do get bites, you're going to rip them in half. You try to set the hook, even when you know you've got that fish good, right? Even when you know you have that fish really good, you're just going to tear them up. I was not able to land. I think I landed one fish on these, and it wasn't even that big of a fish. All because every time I got a bite, I would try to set the hook, it would just rip the plastic to pieces, and I would get just like a little chunk of plastic, and my hook is what I would get left. So, these things here have got to be on the list. And I know a lot of guys are going to give me grief about this. I didn't have any success with these at all. I thought they were overpriced. I thought I was better served by other baits I already had in my arsenal. Whether it was my jointed hard plastic swim baits, which honestly look better than this, or my boot tail and paddle tail swim baits. You know, I could rig them weedless on different types of presentations, and they would work just as good. So I don't understand the hassle behind that. They're all hype and they're nothing else. So they're definitely on this list. Now next up, well, this is the one that breaks my heart. This is the one that I was so much looking forward to. And that is this guy right here. This is the 6th Sense Axle jig. Now, I'm a big jig guy. Anybody watches the channel knows that I'm an old school jig fisherman. And 6th Sense makes my favorite swim jig. That Divine swim jig is absolutely amazing. I love that thing. I like the way the head is shaped because I can actually skip it. I love how it comes through the cover. And I love how it hook sets. Great hook set. Catch a lot of fish with that swim jig. But this thing right here, you know, you look at it and you say, okay, well, it's got an EWG on it. And it's got a screw lock. There is no brush guard. So you are Texas rigging your trailer on the back of it. It doesn't matter if it's a chunk, which, you know, you would just thread the chunk on anyway, but something like a cross, something like a creature bait, you'd rig on, you'd screw lock it on, and you'd Texas rig it. And you're thinking, well, that's amazing. Even through the stuff that I fish in the waters around here, the hydrilla flats everywhere, all the timber, that's going to be amazing. I'm not going to have to worry about doing anything. It's going to come through cleanly. Problem is they made one major design flaw. It's a wobble head. That's right, it swings around, which means that you are creating more surface area for that hook and for that bait to get hung up and gummed up. These things are absolutely terrible. Why they turned them into a wobble head. Now, if you like to fish a biffle head or a wobble head or whatever you want to call it, that's great. But the design of these, a jig is specifically made to go in the thick stuff, to go in the slop, to go in the timber, to go in the vegetation and pull the big girls out. This can't do that because that hook slides all around. So while you're pulling it, the front might slide through, but that back is going to twist and catch a piece of vegetation or catch a piece of timber. It does it time after time. And if you don't end up hanging it up, it's going to be covered in gunk and salad on every single cast. Why would you do that, 6th Sense? You had a perfectly good idea. All you had to do was leave it rigid like you would a weighted swim hook, right? You've got the weighted, belly weighted swim hooks that have the screw locks in them. Just do that with this. It does not have to have a wobble head on it. That would have been a much better design. And these things, I got a bunch of them, and they're not cheap. $8 a piece. These are not cheap. And again, I love 6th Sense. They make a lot of good products that I like to use, other than that Vega Frog, and now other than that Axle jig. So that was a huge disappointment for me. Those are our contenders. We've got the Crush City Janitor Worm. We've got that Savage Gear Frog. We've got the Bait Fuel Chunk Baits. We have the Berkeley Gilly. And we have that 6th Sense Axle jig. So which one is the grand champion? Which one is the absolute worst of the worst? Well, in my mind, there can only be one. And it's got to be this. The Berkeley Gilly. This is your winner for 2025. This is the Golden Clickbait Award winner. Because of the hype that surrounded it, everybody was pushing it. Pro anglers, YouTube influencers, Instagram influencers, everybody was pushing this bait when it first came out. And it continued to get hype over the past 3 years. And it's just not worth it. A lot of times, the greater the hype, the worse the reward. It did not meet expectation, and I have other things in my arsenal that are cheaper and can do the job better.